All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for waiting patiently for the intro there to finish up to allow more people to file in before we start the stream. Right off the bat, we have Prawn Pizza saying, MBG, what do you make of Kana going to Xbox? Yeah, I did see that. I guess it's a little bit surprising just because it's taken so long, you know? It's clear that the game was like, I guess, a timed exclusive of some kind, but maybe they just want to take their time um bringing it over. But yeah, it took a while, I would say. So hopefully it does well over there. I do wonder if we're ever going to get a sequel to that game. It was really good. That was like their first game they made, and they did a really good job. So that's pretty cool. We have Jerome Montgomery with a $5 super chat saying they're saying the Series S is holding the game back, but I bet when the SW2 comes out, which is weaker, there will be no complaints, just being biased. That's a good point, Jerome, and we're going to bring that up. We're going to have a conversation about that, obviously talking about the Xbox Series S at this time and whether or not it's potentially holding games back or if it's going to start to hold games back in a more significant way. But you're right. The Switch 2 is right around the corner, and I've talked extensively about the idea of the Switch 2 getting very strong third-party support and what this could mean, for multi-platform games. Because the Switch 2, I think, is certainly going to be somewhat weaker than the Series S. I don't think it's going to be as strong. I think it will have certain aspects that are as strong as the Series S, but others that are not. So, yeah, that could be hugely problematic for multi-platform games. And it's going to work one of two ways, right? Like, developers are either just going to say, well, we're just not going to make this game for Switch because we literally can't. We have to hold it back way too much. It's just not plausible. Or gaming will get held back. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk more extensively about that, Jerome. Certainly. Let me give you a rundown of the topics of discussion today. So we are talking about a AAA developer that has come out and explicitly stated that the Xbox Series S actually held back their game on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And I find this interesting because it just makes me think back to when the Xbox Series S was first officially revealed in 2020 and announced. And there was so much conversation about whether or not this console could potentially hold back the generation years down the line, right? And here we are pretty much 4 years later. And again, we have a developer just straight up coming out saying like, yeah, this console held our game back, which is fascinating. So we're going to cover that. We're also going to talk about the new Astro Bot game. I want to go over some of the new details and honestly just take some more time to talk about my excitement for this game, because one of the things that Sony as well as Team Asobi are clearly trying to communicate with Astro Bot is how much bigger this game is going to be than Astro's Playroom. And Astro's Playroom was not the biggest game, but I think it's safe to say that Astro's Playroom was surprising for the fact that it was a free pack in-game, and it seemed to offer more than what people were expecting for a free pack in-game. And it was a pretty decent length, honestly. Now they're saying that, hey, this game is actually 4 times bigger than that. I'm waiting to hear how much Astro Bot is going to cost. I am of the belief it's going to be a $70 game. Just based off of the way they're talking about it, like I think they're really trying to set it up as this is a very big game. Like we're trying to match what Nintendo is putting out with their 3D platformers. And as far as I'm aware, Nintendo charges $70 for their modern day 3D platformers. So yeah, we're going to talk all about that. And then we're also going to talk about a new report about Metal Gear Solid Delta. Any excuse I get to talk about Metal Gear Solid and specifically Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, I'm going to talk about it. So I want to cover that as well. And there's actually a little bonus topic that I wasn't planning on discussing, but it just came out right before the stream started. And that's the fact that there is officially now a PlayStation VR2 PC adapter that Sony announced. So I want to go over that with you and let you know what's going on there. We have a super chat from Novinzer saying, will you get a copyright if you stream a TV episode? Yes, I will. Absolutely. That's a no-no. You can't stream TV episodes or anything like that. In fact, I think people who, as far as I'm aware, people who like react to stuff like that, like TV shows and movies, like they can't show any of it on screen. I don't even think they can show or play the audio. Like they just have to show their reactions, and you have to kind of watch it with them on your own, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I as far as I know, that is that's very messy, and you will get copyrights very quickly. All right. So, guys, before we dive into any of these topics, I do want to just thank everybody once again for tuning in. If you're watching live, thank you for taking time out of your day to, hang out with me here and go over these topics and discuss them. If you're somebody who can't catch the streams live, but you watch them later on, I also just want to extend a thank you to you guys as well, because I really do appreciate that viewership. I do appreciate the support in that regard as well. Hit the like button for me. We are currently sitting at 51 likes. Hitting the like button lets me know that you guys do enjoy these streams and that you find them somewhat informative or at the very least entertaining, but it also helps with YouTube's algorithm. I also want to let you guys know that there are 3 ways you can support the channel directly. This channel and this content and this community is completely fan-funded. So I do rely on you guys to be able to do this here. The first way is become a channel member. You gain access to exclusive member perks. One of the biggest, if not the biggest member perk is you gain access to the Members Lounge, which is an exclusive place where me and the members go to lounge and talk about all different types of things. It's normally pretty different from the regular streams we do. So I will let you know we will be doing a Members Lounge today after this stream. So if you are a member, look forward to that. But also, again, consider becoming one. The second way you can help support directly is gift memberships. Gifting memberships is a big thing we do here, and the community very much appreciates it. I know a lot of people kind of rely somewhat on those membership gifts. Not everybody's able to afford a membership, but it also encourages people, obviously, to consider paying it forward and gifting memberships themselves as well. I've seen it happen many times. And last but certainly not least, consider donating a super chat. Ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, anything in between. It all helps. And a fourth bonus way is there is a pinned link in the chat box where that is a direct donation link. So if you don't want a super chat or anything like that or gift memberships, you can donate directly to the channel where you can also leave a message, and 100% of what you donate goes to the content creator. So thank you guys so much. And Jerome Montgomery with another chat here says, Nintendo platformer is 60. Sony's got to match that. Okay. Guys, is that true? I thought Nintendo announced a little while ago that their AAA games were going to be $70. Am I mistaken on that one? Because Jerome is saying that a Nintendo platformer is 60. Only Zelda was 70? Okay. So you're saying the traditional like 2D platformers are $60? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, in that case, yeah, Sony would be... That would be a really tough sell. If Sony were to go like a full-blown $70 for ASTROBOT, I think that would frustrate some people, and I think it would unnecessarily hinder the performance of the game. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll buy ASTROBOT for $70 because it's a game I absolutely want to play, but even I can admit that, that's a tough sell. I'm thinking $50. That's what I'm thinking. If Sony really wants this game to succeed and give it the best possible chance, especially after seeing how well a game like Miles Morales and even Helldivers 2, you're talking about games that are hitting the $40 and $50 price points. I think that these are games that, that kind of prove if you drop the price a little bit, you're willing to kind of oscillate with the price. I think that these games prove that it can be very rewarding to do so. And I think a game like Astro Bot would fit perfectly at the $50 price point. If they go for 60, that could still work. Because they are emphasizing just how massive, apparently, this game is. We also have the Caped Crusader here, member for 36 months. Thank you for that support, buddy. You're saying, MBG, I think we should start rooting for Xbox because competition is important. If Microsoft gives up on Xbox, Sony might turn into 2K Sports. I'm in agreement. There will always be a certain level of, I would say, scrutiny that Xbox has earned, for sure. Like, I think they've earned it over the years. And because of that, I'm always going to go into what Xbox does with, that level of scrutiny. But at the same time, I am absolutely in agreement that we do need that competition. I do want to see Microsoft do well in the console space, so that way there's more competition in the console space. I do not want to see a console space that is totally and completely dominated by PlayStation, because if that's what happens, Sony will not be worried. Sony will likely get complacent, and they will take advantage of it, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. So, yeah. All right. Apparently, Boss wants to come in. I actually didn't realize he wasn't in here, so I'll bring him in just a minute. Mrs. MBG was letting me know. I guess he was scratching at the door. But yeah, we do want to see that competition. I'm rooting for Microsoft in the traditional sense of I want to see them support the console. I want to see them double down on the things that will lead to further competition. It's just that, unfortunately, a lot of the decisions that Microsoft has been making, I would say over the past 6 to 8 months, have not been for, in the name of further competition. It's been quite the opposite. But then again, a lot of the moves that we're seeing made in the industry as a whole, it's not just exclusive to Microsoft, it's happening all around. There's a lot of moves that are being made by all platform holders, all publishers, seems to be in the name of survival, if not survival, sustainable growth of some kind, profitability. This is what we're seeing, and it's fascinating because that shift has happened relatively quickly. But yes, all in all, Caped Crusader, I'm in agreement. We do want to see Sony have competition. I definitely don't want to see a Sony PlayStation who doesn't have any pressure from any competitors. Corey says, running my show without me. Well, you guys know how it is. If we do hit 25 members today, we will feed Boss. We will feed the Beast. We'll give him some snacks, maybe a little bit of catnip as well. I think he's starting to get used to getting the catnip. So, this is why he wants to come in so badly, because he lives the good life when we stream. Boss lives the good life. He lives the perfectly fine life, I would say, when we're not streaming. But when the stream's on, he knows some good things are probably in store for him. So, all right, so I want to start here. PlayStation VR2 PC adapter coming this August disables numerous headset features. This is being reported by VGC. Sony has announced its PC adapter for PlayStation VR2. The announcement comes a few months after the publisher revealed it was working on making the headset, which has struggled commercially, compatible with the PC. The adapter will be released on August 7th, and it will cost $60 US at select retailers and PlayStation Direct and wherever else available. Players will also need a commercially available DisplayPort cable sold separately that is compatible with DisplayPort 1.4, as well as a Steam account and a PC that meets the minimum requirements. Sony has also said that features like HDR, headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback other than Rumble will not be available when playing on PC. Sony has also published the minimum spec requirements for using the device on PC, and this is what they are. Operating system, Windows 10 64-bit, Windows 11 64-bit processor, Intel Core i5-7600/AMD Ryzen 3 3100 Zen 2 or later architecture is required. RAM/memory, 8 gigabytes or more. GPU/graphics card, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 or later. Turing or later architecture is required, /NVIDIA RTX series /AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT or later /AMD Radeon RX 6500 XT or later. DisplayPort 1.4 must have a standard DisplayPort or mini DisplayPort output port. Oh my God. USB direct connection only, Bluetooth 4.0 or later. And so there you go. Those are the minimum spec requirements to use PSVR2 on your PC if you're planning to purchase this adapter. Now, I got to ask you guys, is anybody here planning to do this? And we have our good friend Corey, the Legend Landiga, coming in, kicking off the day by dropping 5 membership gifts for you guys. Corey, thank you for starting the member train today. And thank you for the membership gifts as always. You're always doing amazing things for the community, and me and Boss very much appreciate it. I know what Corey wants. Corey wants to see us get to that 25 goal so we can feed the beast. Hopefully we'll get there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris, you're saying you're going to get the adapter. How much was the adapter? It's going to be $60 US for the adapter. So, yeah, this is something that was rumored. There was a rumor, I think, a couple of months ago that Sony was potentially getting ready to bring PSVR2 to PC. And now today we have the official confirmation that they're doing so by releasing an adapter. And I think that this is a very smart idea on Sony's part, because if they want to give PSVR2 the best possible chance at survival, let alone one day being able to thrive, I think this was a necessary move for them to make. But it'll be interesting to see if it actually pays off for them or not, if it actually moves the needle. And we have Hellbound 1981, another legend, coming in, following up Corey's 5 bomb with a 5 bomb of his own. I know what Hellbound wants as well. Corey and Hellbound are kicking it off, bringing us up to 10 members on the day, hoping to once again feed the beast. Hellbound, thank you so much for that, buddy. I'm gonna give you a Jim Ryan here.
We're gonna have the games do our talking.
That quote will live on forever. Jim Ryan may be retired, but that quote will live on at least here. So thank you for that, Hellbound, and thank you guys for continuing to drop membership gifts for this community and to support the content. You're saying the disabling of eye tracking on PC is an L. It's one of the features that separates PSVR from other headsets. Yeah, I will say it does seem to be quite unfortunate that so many of the features that are available on PSVR2 will be disabled if you choose to use it on PC. I'm not exactly sure if this is intentionally done on Sony's part, where they kind of want people who are buying a PS5 and buying PSVR2 to feel like they have something exclusive, like we have exclusive features that are not available on PC, or if it's just simply due to limitations of the adapter itself. I'm going to assume it's probably the limitations. Like, I mean, that's my guess. But the thing is, and here's my question with this, right? Because I feel like there's a question that hasn't really been answered with this information, and that is, so if you have PSVR2, or if you have a PC, all right, if you have a PC, you buy PSVR2, you buy this adapter, I guess that just means at that point you can access any VR game that's available on PC and play it on your PSVR2, just again with certain features disabled. That's how I'm thinking this is going to work. That's how I'm thinking this is supposed to work, because any other way to me wouldn't make sense. I wouldn't really see a point of them bringing over PSVR2 if they were only going to limit the amount of games that you could play on this VR headset. Squall93 says, MBG, no, it's just a software problem between Valve and Sony, but since Steam VR games don't use the features anyway, it doesn't change much. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Space Gambler, saying you think you're just going to pass on PSVR2. B Flesher, you're saying please play Half-Life Alex. It's stunning. I've heard it is very good. Let me let Boss in, by the way. Hold on one sec, guys. All right, the beast has entered his domain. And he is now wondering when he is going to get his snacks. Sorry, boss. I didn't mean to start the show without you, buddy. You see a tail. Well, I will say, when Sony first announced PSVR2, I do not think they had any intention of bringing it to PC. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that was their intent. I don't think that was in the plans. I think that they just wanted to see how well it was going to sell, how well it was going to do. And I think that they saw it. And then they decided, okay, change of plans. We're going to have to bring this thing over to PC because it's really not selling that well at all. And we're having a struggle here. There's a lot of PS5s out on the market. Boss, your tail's in my face, bro. There's a lot of PS5s out on the market, but it seems like, PSVR 2 being as expensive as it is, it doesn't seem to be appealing to the wider PS5 market itself. And we have Jake TRML coming in, dropping a single membership gift, keeping the membership train going today.
Thank you.
Jake.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff, man. Thank you for keeping the membership train going. You just brought us up to 11 members on the day. Boss, we're getting there, bro. We're getting there. Don't worry. All right, hang in there. Hang in there. We're almost halfway there. I do think a lot of people who are supporting PlayStation VR 2, a lot of people who want to see PSVR 2 ultimately succeed and have a chance at success. I think those people are going to be pretty happy that Sony is doing this, because I don't know that this is going to be the catalyst to where suddenly PSVR 2 is taking off and the headset's selling really well and it's flying off the shelves now, so to speak. I don't know that this adapter for PC is going to be the catalyst for that. But I do think it could help significantly. Come on, buddy. Boss is getting aggressive now. I do think it could help significantly, for sure. It needs games, not adapters. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I do think that obviously the number one thing that's going to push people to buy a PSVR 2 are games more than anything. But I do just wonder how many PC players, right, are hearing this news or learning about this news today, and now they're like, you know what, maybe I will look into PSVR 2. I do wonder. But it'll be interesting to see how this impacts PSVR 2 sales, because I don't think it's going to make them skyrocket, certainly not, but I do think it might give it a little bit of a boost. But the real question is if it's going to give it enough of a boost to be able to really get the headset into a healthier spot overall. I think that's what we need to find out. Oh, man. All right, so I wanted to just cover that topic first and foremost because, again, it just recently popped up. I wasn't actually aware of that announcement when I was constructing the stream, but I thought it was, worth mentioning to you guys. PSVR 2 PC adapter, it's official now. It's coming out in August. So before we move on to the next topic, guys, once again, hit that like button. We're sitting at 95 likes. We're very close to 100. Really helps the streams. The next topic talks about a AAA game developer coming out and revealing that the Xbox Series S has actually limited their game. And because of that, the PS5 version, as well as the Xbox Series X version, is being impacted. So this is being reported by WCCF Tech. And before we read this, though, we have Corey the Legend Landiga. In the name of Boss. He doesn't even need to say it. I already know. In the name of Boss, Corey says, you know what? Let's drop another 10 membership gifts for Boss, for MBG, for this community. And he drops a 10 bomb. You love to see it. Boss thanks you. Boss thanks you. And also,
but that's
for you as well, Corey.
Shooting. You're pretty good.
Corey's saying 5 more, boys. Our boss needs it. Well, guys, we are now sitting at 21 members, just like that. So we are actually not even 5. We are just 4 away from hitting the goal of 25. So, Corey, thank you so much for that. I'm thinking we're going to do it at some point. I think it's going to happen. Boss seems to be aware, too. He's like, I'm ready. I'm ready to feed. Whoa. Man, he's still shedding a lot of hair. A lot of fur. And Hellbound 1981 answers the call once again. Corey and Hellbound tag teaming it once again. Hellbound drops another 5 bomb, another 5 membership gifts for this community and for Boss. And just like that, we are at 26 members on the day. So thank you for that, Hellbound. We are now going to feed the beast, and we will proceed with our topic here. Boss, are you ready for snacks? You ready for snacks? Yeah. He's like, I'm ready, bro. I've been ready. All right, let me just update the member goal, and we'll feed the beast here. There's also a fly in here, which is incredibly irritating. Don't like flies. I don't think anybody likes flies, but man, they really annoy me. Hopefully it doesn't interfere too much. It's already interfering. There's a fly right in... Come on, get the fuck out. Get out. This ain't going to be good, bro. You're going to see me start fighting this fly on stream. All right, but here we go. Corey, Hellbound, Jake, and everybody else who's going to hopefully drop some membership.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Time, boss. They love you. They love you so much. There you go, bro. Enjoy. Enjoy your little feast there. That's courtesy of this community once again. They never fail to show their love for Boss. Yeah, I just will say before diving into this article here, I really don't know what's going on with the flies. There've been like there's like this I have like this bush outside. It's like I don't know what it's called. It's like a pencil bush or something like that. This is what it looks like. It's like a really thin bush. It's tall. But like every spring, it just attracts flies like crazy. I don't know why. And you know, they're harmless. Like they're not doing anything, but they like fly into the house. And I'm like, this is so annoying. I don't know how to stop it. And it is what it is. I got to get a fly swatter. That's the point. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next topic here. And that is talking about the Series S limiting an upcoming AAA game. So I want to go over this report with you guys and let you know what this developer's saying about their current situation. All right, so being reported by WCCF Tech, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's scope was impacted by the Xbox Series S hardware limitations, as the developers could only make a game that was about 25% bigger than its predecessor. As reported by Czech website Zing.cz, during an ongoing game access event, producer Martin Klima confirmed that the Xbox Series S technical limitations, namely the 10 gigabytes of RAM, have impacted Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's scope, as the weakest current generation console has only 25% more RAM. Warhorse Studios decided to make the game only 25% bigger than its predecessor. This isn't the first time we've heard how Microsoft's console impacted the development of multi-platform games, but it is still disappointing. During the event, the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 producer also revealed that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X on these consoles, the game will run at 4K resolution, but be limited to 30 frames per second, although it wasn't specified if it will be a native 4K resolution or upscaled. I think it's safe to say it's probably going to be upscaled. On the Xbox Series S, the game will run at 1440p resolution at 30 frames per second. The lack of multiple display modes suggests that the game will be CPU intensive, which is expected for an open world role-playing game. And it says here, while Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 running at only 30 FPS on console is disappointing, performance should be stable at the very least. The game is apparently already running steadily at above 30 FPS, so at an early stage, optimization is definitely ahead of the first entry in the series, which didn't run very smoothly on consoles. And so, yeah, this is something that I do feel is going a little bit underreported. And maybe the reason why it's going a little bit underreported is because maybe it's not all too surprising. But I always find it interesting when a developer specifically lets us know, like, this console, whether it's the Series S or if we're talking about a last-gen console like the PS4 or even the Xbox One, yeah, this is why our game is limited. This is why our game is basically being held back. And it's interesting because I put a question out there today. I asked both my membership community as well as all of my followers on X. I asked you if you believe the Xbox Series S is holding back PS5 and Xbox Series X games. And obviously, it's a polarizing question. There's a lot of different answers, a lot of different responses, and there seems to be basically two camps here. Camp one is, yes, the Xbox Series S is holding back current gen games. It is going to hold back current gen games going forward. The other camp is, no, the Xbox Series S is not holding back games. It's actually the PS4 and the Xbox One that are still holding back games. And my answer to this is I think it's both. But when we're just talking about current gen games, I don't really see how you could bring the PS4 or the Xbox One into the conversation. Now, granted, the question I asked was broadly speaking, so I can understand why that was brought into the conversation. But when we focus in on Warhorse Studios, the developers of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I don't think it's fair to bring in the PS4 or the Xbox One into the conversation because this game is not releasing on the PS4 or the Xbox One. This game is just currently targeting current-gen consoles, and the developer comes out themselves and they straight up say that we had to limit the scope of our game due to Xbox hardware limitations because of the Series S. They say that we only made the game 25% bigger because that's as far as we could go due to the limited RAM inside of the Series S. This, to me, is disappointing and also potentially problematic going forward. Because yes, it is true that the PS4 and the Xbox One have maybe overstayed their welcome this generation. We are about to see Call of Duty Black Ops 6 be announced for the PS4 as well, and it just seems like it's taking longer, generally speaking, for publishers and game developers to fully convert to current gen and leave behind last gen. I do agree that this has went on for maybe a little bit longer than anticipated. However, I think we are at that point now, right? Where we are certainly already seeing more PS5 and Xbox Series only games. But certainly going into 2025 and beyond, we're going to see that a lot more. And once that happens, what will be the excuse then, right? Something that always gets me with these conversations, at least with this one in particular, I mean, I've seen it in previous conversations, but with this one in particular, something that gets me and just kind of makes me question what people are, if we're seeing the same thing here, is this is a developer saying this. You know what I mean? Like this isn't some developer giving their opinion. This isn't some developer giving their thoughts on what the Series S could do to a game. This isn't some random person on the internet. This isn't Digital Foundry. This isn't any of that. This is literally the developer making the video game saying that, yes, this console has held back our game and caused us to reduce the scope of the game. And it's because of the RAM. And it brings me back, like I said earlier, it brings me back to 2020 when this console was first announced, where there were so many arguments occurring, understandably so, and they were hinging on, is this console going to hold back this new generation or not? Well, look at where we are now. You know, how can people argue against this? How can people defend this when this is not the first developer to come out and say this? But yeah, I mean, you look at something like Baldur's Gate 3, that was a big problem. I do think Microsoft made the right call by letting them actually just, you know, make the compromise. You know, with the feature, I think it was split screen co-op. But this is a little bit different. This is a little bit more intense than Baldur's Gate 3. This is the developer just straight up saying, like, we straight up had to reduce the overall scope of our game due to hardware limitations. You know? It just makes me wonder, like, what could they have done if they didn't have to do that? You know what I mean? We have Michael Lynch here saying, with a $5 super chat, $70 is fine for Astro Bot. We are used to that price for quality, and that game is oozing with it. Triple anus for $70 all day. Well, it's like I said, Michael, I would definitely pay $70 for Astro Bot. And I'm just speaking for myself. If somebody were to say I'm not paying $70 for Astro Bot, I could understand that. I could completely understand that. But I guess it really depends on what Sony's trying to achieve here. If Sony's trying to achieve sales volume and just getting Astro Bot out there to more potential customers, I think a $50 price point or even a $60 price point helps achieve that. But I think if they're just trying to maximize profitability on people who are fans of Astro, then I could see them going for a $7 price point. I'm just giving Boss a little bit of catnip here. He's clearly asking for it. Part of his routine now. But, Michael, we're going to see. I think we're probably going to hear about Astro's price point. I mean, when did they say pre-orders are going live? In like a week or two or something like that? So we're going to know. We're going to find out very soon. I'm hoping for a $50 price point because I do, again, I want to see Astro succeed. June 7th? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's in just a couple days. So that's less time than I expected. So we'll know Friday. I'm hoping for a $50 price point because I do think that will just allow Astro overall to be more successful and to hopefully find an even bigger audience because I want to see the Astro, I was going to call it a series, but I want to see just Astro as a mascot do more. You know, I want to see it grow and expand. You're saying they need to hold it in high regard, so maybe that's why they're going to price it at 70. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because the way they're talking about it, I do agree. We're going to go over that next. The way they're talking about it does. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards a $70 price point. I just hope it doesn't create negativity. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a big win that Sony has right now where there's just nothing but pure positivity flowing in the direction of Astro Bot. And it would be unfortunate if anything got in the way of that. And I do think a $70 price point could potentially get in the way of that, where suddenly the conversation went from how awesome this game looks to now the conversation maybe end up being dominated by, oh, but it's $70 and that's a ripoff or that's greedy or that's not worth it. And that would be unfortunate. You know, I just don't want to see it turn into something like that. We also have Money here with a $2 super chat saying KCD ran terrible on these consoles, still does. So Kingdom Come Deliverance runs terrible on the consoles. I mean, that's the thing here is it is a developer saying this about the Xbox Series S, but maybe we do have to also consider the development team themselves. Like, what is their skill level? Is it a talent thing? Is it Just simply, they're not very good at optimizing for consoles, so therefore they're struggling. And maybe they're using the Series S as a potential scapegoat. Now, that's playing devil's advocate for sure there, because the truth is this is not the first time we have seen developers run into a problem with the Series S. And the big question, right? The big question always lies with one game in particular, that being Grand Theft Auto 6. The big question is, are we going to find out that the Series S, in some way, shape, or form, will actually limit what GTA 6 could have achieved? Now, I don't think Rockstar would admit that. I don't think Rockstar would come out and say, oh, yeah, we were going to go bigger with GTA 6, but we couldn't because of the Series S. I just don't see them saying something like that, even if it were the truth. But at the same time, Rockstar's so big, GTA 6 is so big, that if they did run into problems and they took that to Microsoft and they said, Microsoft, look, we're in the middle of developing GTA 6 for the current gen consoles, and the Series S is a problem. It's a bottleneck. We can't get the game running on it. I think Microsoft would have no choice but to say, okay, well, then you don't have to release it on the Series S. You could just make it a Series X exclusive, right? I could see that happening. But the thing is, as of right now, Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive have announced that GTA 6 is releasing on PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. So the assumption is there is not going to be any problem. So I don't know. It's hard to determine here. I want to say it's less of an optimization thing, though. And the reason why I want to say it's less of an optimization thing is because they specifically point to the limited RAM, saying that the 10 gigabytes of RAM is really what's causing the bottleneck here with the scope of the game. And that, yeah, I mean, that's my guess on it. I don't know. I just, when I read this, I'm not getting the feeling that this is some kind of optimization problem that the developers are just struggling to properly optimize, because the interesting thing is they're saying here that the game will run at 1440p resolution at 30 FPS on the Series S. And if that's true, that's actually pretty good compared to other games we've seen running on the Series S in the past. So I'm just feeling a little bit nervous. You know, I've already told you guys how I feel about PS4 and Xbox One support in 2024. And that is that I think we just have to move on. But at the same time, I can understand why some developers are not ready to move on. In this regard, this whole generation feels like it's been sluggish. This whole generation has felt almost like a half step because of how limited it's been, of how slow moving it's been. But I feel like if we don't start to see more developers just let go of PS4 and Xbox One and embrace current gen, it's going to just remain that. It's going to remain sluggish and feeling like a half step. But now, for some of the developers that are embracing current gen only, I just hope this doesn't become the norm. That would be incredibly disappointing, and I would actually be pretty frustrated with Microsoft if, as the generation proceeds into 2025 and 2026, although it's ironic because apparently Microsoft is releasing a next-gen console in 2026, so by that point, it might not even be relevant. Like, the Series S might be left behind by Microsoft themselves at that point. Who knows? Maybe the Series S is actually a thorn in Microsoft's own side, right? But I just hope that we don't see a trend. I hope this isn't the beginning of a trend. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm hoping that in the next year or two, we don't start to just see multiple developers coming out and being like, yeah, like the Series S is holding our game back. That would be disappointing. And if that were to become a serious problem, I would hope Microsoft would be willing to let go of the Series S to just let these games flourish, hopefully, and be what they want to be as good as they can be. We have Josh here with 2 back-to-back super chats. Josh, thank you so much for that, buddy. We have also, okay, never mind. I thought I missed something. Josh, you're saying Concord is not my kind of game. I'm not a hero shooter live service guy, but my cup half full take is that I'm glad it's a new live service studio taking on the task to add variety and not a legacy studio. If Sony wants to diversify their portfolio and they're bringing in a new team for that, I feel way better about that than one of their legacy studios being forced to produce these types of games, in my opinion. That I 100% agree with you, Josh. Yeah, we talked extensively about Concord yesterday, and I have pretty much nothing left to say. But in regards to your super chat, I 100% agree with you. And I did say that yesterday, that Sony is taking this smarter approach here, where even though everything surrounding Concord to me seems like a question mark, there's no denying that, yes, it is good that Firewalk is a new studio that is not a legacy studio, and they're the ones that are coming out and doing something like this, because, man, it would be, in my opinion, disastrous, like completely disastrous, if it's like, here's what Sony Bend has been working on. Here's what Sucker Punch has been working on. That would be devastating, because at that point, I think everybody would look at each other and agree that, oh, this is not good, you know? So, Josh, I am in agreement, and like I said, man, I'm just going to be kind of sitting on the sidelines from this point going forward when it comes to Concord. I said everything I needed to say yesterday, and I don't want to beat a dead horse necessarily. And so I'm going to just let the game do what it's going to do, and I'm going to sit back on the sidelines and I'm going to watch. And, if there's important information that I have to let everybody know about, I'll do that. But I'm just going to be seeing how the game does. And to be honest, I'm going to be more focused on the games that I'm looking forward to playing more so. But it's just like with fair games, right? Like, I don't know what to expect with fair games either. And my confidence level is not high in fair games. But even if that game comes out and looks immensely disappointing to me, it's the same situation where it's like, it's a new studio. It's unfortunate that the game is disappointing to me and I'm not looking forward to it, but it's a new studio. It's not a legacy studio. It's not even like an established studio that was purchased by Sony, that already put out a bunch of games and was tasked with doing this. And I think that is the best way to approach it. And I want to acknowledge something that Space D said here. He's saying, MBG, we have plenty of games that come out normally, like always by this point. I get that small developers struggle with resources, but lack of resources, not the Series S's fault. See, you could be right about that. And that's the thing here, is this is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. To me, as far as I'm aware, it's a AAA game. And I know they're not the biggest studio in the world. And yes, they're obviously limited with resources, just like, most other independent studios and developers. However, again, to me, the focus here is on how they're saying they had to limit the scope. That's the thing that's concerning to me. Because, yeah, you're right. There have been plenty of games that have ran just fine on the Series S, being, tethered to that, and also running fine on the Series X and PS5. But the thing is, as each year passes, development teams are going to be looking to do more with their games, especially as last gen consoles start to get left behind. More developers are going to move on to bigger and better things. And part of that is going to be increasing the overall scope of their games. Not for every game, not for every development team. Certainly not. But as that continues, as we continue to see that push going forward, that's where I do worry that the Series S could become more of an issue than it has been up until this point. But then again, like I said, the rumor currently is that Microsoft is targeting the next generation Xbox for 2026. And so if Microsoft comes out in 2026, it's like, here's our next generation Xbox. So we can now, like, that's going to be Microsoft signaling, like, we can proceed forward. Of course, there will still be cross-gen for a while, but that's them saying, like, we are ready to proceed forward with the Xbox brand and the Xbox console. There might not be enough time. You know what I mean? Like, there might not be enough time where it's like, just as we are approaching that point where developers are now looking to truly increase the scope of their games, that could occur at almost the exact same time that Microsoft is like, and here's our next generation console already. Again, it would basically just highlight, if that is how this plays out, then it will ultimately feel like, man, this generation is going to be looked at like a half step. This is going to be looked at as like, at least for Xbox, like the Xbox Series S is going to be looked at as like the Xbox 1.5. You know what I mean? Yeah, the console. The Series S was definitely not future proofed. That's for sure. But maybe Microsoft always kind of knew that they were going to do another generation sooner rather than later. Maybe that's what gave them the confidence to not necessarily future proof it. Yeah, and again, the Switch 2 needs to play a role here as well, where the Switch 2 is going to be revealed this year. It's going to come out early 2025, and that we need to pay very close attention to, because, I mean, the Switch 2 very well could take all of the attention off of the Series S, because if the Switch 2 comes out and it gets off to a really good sales start, which I think it's going to, there's a chance it's going to get a lot of third-party support. And I just don't really know what to expect, honestly. It's hard to gauge. I mean, we're either going to see most development teams skip the Switch 2, just like they've skipped the regular Switch, right? The first iteration of the Switch. We're either going to see that continue, where it's like, okay, well, the PS5 Pro is out. Microsoft's getting ready to announce their next gen console in like a year and a half or something. So we're just gonna move forward, with PC hardware and with console hardware, like traditional console hardware. And sorry, maybe eventually we'll make like a Switch 2 port. It's either going to be that, like we are seeing now, or it's going to be the opposite of that. The Switch 2 is going to cause everybody to say, whoa, hold on. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to, scale your game with the Switch 2 in mind? Because if the Switch 2 sells really well, which I think it's going to, that's a bigger install base. You think that's what's going to happen? I will say, given the current circumstances the industry finds itself in, that could happen. That could happen, where things basically, everything just has to kind of slow down and pump the brakes. That could absolutely happen. That I do agree with. You're saying every publisher is going to want games out on the Switch 2. I do believe that, and I do think that's true. However, the question will be, does every development team want to target the Switch 2? And I think that is kind of the issue here, right? Where it really, I think, it will be on a case-by-case basis. Truthfully, I think that's what we're going to see, because a lot of development teams are simply not going to be able to target the Switch 2 with what they want to do with their game. I mean, look at GTA 6. Again, another game that's relevant even with this conversation with the Switch 2. Like, GTA 6 is not coming to the Switch 2. Seemingly. At least right now, it seems like it's not. And if I had to guess, the reason for that might be, or I don't want to say might be, but you would think the reason for that is because, it literally can't run on the Switch 2. But yeah, that's the thing is, could it be that GTA 6 was not announced for the Switch 2 yet because they couldn't announce it for the Switch 2 yet? Now I'll tell you right now, if GTA 6, if it's announced in the coming months, like the next time we get a trailer for GTA 6, part of that is, by the way, this game's going to launch on the Switch 2. That changes everything, in my opinion. That changes everything. That changes the entire trajectory of where the industry's headed, in my opinion. Because I feel like we are kind of at this tipping point right now, and GTA 6 to me seems like the biggest factor as to which direction things are going to tip in where we are either going to, get over that hurdle and as an industry, like now we're going to push forward again, like we're really going to start making forward progress, or we're going to tip in the other direction and just kind of not necessarily go backwards, but we're just going to stay where we are and we're not really going to go any farther. And I think so much of that is going to be decided by GTA 6 because as of right now, GTA 6 it'll be PS5, PS5 Pro, Series X, and Series S. And the Series S will be the lowest common denominator. And even then, we just talked about a moment ago how kind of interested to see how that works out. But if they come out and they say, oh, we are also targeting the Switch 2, that means the scope of GTA 6 is even lower than the Series S, right? Like the Series S at that point is no longer the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator for GTA 6 is going to be the Switch 2 if they announce it for that. And if that were to happen, I would be convinced that GTA 6 is not pushing, it's not moving things forward like we thought it was. It'll still be good, still be exciting, obviously, still do just fine. But I think there's this kind of pressure on GTA 6 and Rockstar Games where it's like, if there was ever a studio and ever a game to give the industry as a whole that collective push forward to move forward, to actually really make meaningful progress, I think GTA 6 is kind of supposed to be the game to do that, but maybe not. Maybe not. There's still much we don't know about how all of this is going to play out. Space Gambler, you're saying you don't agree? I'm curious. What specifically don't you agree with? The Switch 2 will probably launch around March. Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're going to target a March 2025 launch. You don't believe the Switch 2 will be the lowest common denominator? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't believe that either. Like, if I had to, pick one or the other, like, what do I think? Is it going to launch on the Switch 2 or not? I'm going to say no. I don't think GTA 6 is going to launch on the Switch 2. I don't. And I think it's just going to simply be because I think Rockstar is trying to push the boundary. I do think Rockstar is going to release a truly cutting edge game that, I mean, think about the way we look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018. And if you go play that, even just on a base PS4 or a PS4 Pro, it still is shocking, like how far ahead that game is compared to like so many other things. Just even technologically speaking, it's just crazy. And that's a last gen game. And GTA 6 has been in development since GTA 5 shipped to some extent. Obviously it didn't really ramp up development until probably after Red Dead Redemption 2 shipped, but it's been in development to some extent since GTA 5 shipped. So it would be difficult for me to believe that Rockstar is not looking to truly push the boundary and, deliver a game that even makes Red Dead Redemption 2 look dated. I think that is what Rockstar is striving for. That's my assumption. And to kind of, get back to the conversation about the Series S, this is what I mean, is GTA 6 could be the game that validates the Series S, believe it or not. It could be the game that proves that the Series S is a perfectly fine console that will not hold things back when you have development teams that are this skilled and this competent. Maybe Rockstar Games could be, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but maybe Rockstar Games could be the one to say, oh, yeah, this is GTA 6 running on the Series S, and people are like, how? And Rockstar's just like, yeah, that's just we're just that good, right? It's either going to be that, or it's going to I think GTA 6 is going to do the opposite, where GTA 6 is going to confirm to everybody that, like, oh, this game looks like this game is running like a 20 frames per second at like 500p resolution or something like that. You know what I mean? It could be one or the other, but yeah, I'm just looking at what this developer's saying now, and I'm just thinking, yeah, I think this is a good way to put it. I think GTA 6 is either going to validate or invalidate the Series S, and in doing so, we look at what Warhorse Studios is saying right now. Warhorse Studios is saying we had to limit the scope of our game because of the Series S, and it's like, it's interesting, because the Series S, the implication is that the Series S is going to be detrimental to any game that's trying to be bigger than this game. That's the thing that gets me about this specific topic, about this specific developer and this specific game, is they're saying we could only increase the scope of our game by 25% until we hit a ceiling, and that ceiling was hit because of the Series S. Surely GTA 6 is going to be much more than 25% bigger than GTA 5. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, surely this game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, is not going to be the literal biggest game to come out this generation, right? And that's where I'm saying, like, or maybe there's something else at play here that we're not necessarily aware of. I mean, as of right now, there have been no rumors about the development of GTA 6 on these consoles. And what I mean by that is, like, there's been no rumors of any development problems. There's been no rumors of even whether or not Rockstar is going to target the PS5 Pro. I think it's an assumption, right? Like, it's an assumption that GTA 6 is going to target the PS5 Pro. And I guess it's just impossible at this point in time not to bring GTA 6 into this conversation when we're talking about the Xbox Series S and how it could be potentially limiting this current generation. Could be engine dependent. Yeah. See, that to me is where I feel a little bit ignorant, because it's like, what's going on there? If a game engine, I mean, what would cause that, I guess, is within a game engine? That's a question I feel like I don't have an answer to. It's like, what exactly causes a game engine, like one game engine, to be limited to where, like, oh yeah, we're hitting a ceiling much quicker on this hardware than another game engine that's like, oh yeah, we can do way more? Is it just technological advancement? Is it this engine's older than this one? That I'm not a game dev. I don't work with game engines, so I have no idea. Is it customizations? Like, does there have to be specific customizations made for a game engine to kind of accommodate certain things when it comes to developing for consoles? These are questions I don't have the answers to necessarily. I see Irfan in the chat saying MBG new ASTROBOT gear was revealed. Sony's going hard with this. Ooh. New ASTROBOT gear, huh? Is it like from the PlayStation Gear store? Let me see. Oh, it is. Oh, that's awesome. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I might have to get an Astro shirt, dude. They're going all in. I think Sony's very smart for doing this. They should be going all in. They have well, that's weird. One of the shirts that they just advertised doesn't seem to be for sale. Maybe it's coming later. What's okay? There's this one Astrobot shirt where it's Astro sitting down in front of a TV and he's playing a PlayStation 1. And when I click on the link and it takes me to the PlayStation Gear store, it's not available. Because that's definitely the one I would want to get. Hopefully it's just like an error. Maybe they forgot to put the listing up. You see the one I'm talking about? Shelly says MBG fears cloud streaming. That's why he cowers. Nintendo will do that for GTA 6 and all, and as they do for Resident Evil. You know what? I don't fear that. No. I actually forget about it. That's what it is. Like, you're right. I didn't even think of that. I forget that that is a aspect for the Nintendo Switch that does exist. So surely that will exist for the Switch too as well. Except this time, the technology will be even more improved. It'll be even better than it was previously. So good point. Good point. That could be, yeah, that could be it, man. An AI. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the next like 5 years. It feels like a long time, but I guess it is a long time. But you know, we're about to approach the 4th year of these current gen consoles, and it feels like there's so many things that are changing so rapidly that the next 5 years is really when we're going to start to see some very, very interesting stuff happen. Some very unexpected stuff as well. You're asking if I can put it on screen. Let me see if I can. I might not be able to, but I'll give it a shot here really quick. Hold on, I gotta shrink it down. This is the picture that they put out for the Astro Bot merch. And if you see that picture right there, the one where he's playing the PlayStation 1, I clicked on the link. That one's not in the store. I don't think. Unless, you know what? Hold on. Let me check something. I'm wondering if is that the back of the shirt maybe? That's why it wasn't showing? Oh, yeah. Okay, no, it is. That's the back of the shirt. So the back of the shirt has Astro sitting there playing a PS1. Okay. Yeah, I got to get me one of those. I like that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the merch. So there it is. That's at the PlayStation Gear store, I think. Boss is like, yo, I forgot a couple snacks. All right, so don't know that I have much more to say about this particular topic. I do think it's unfortunate that, you know, this developer's coming out and saying we had to limit the scope of the game. They're pointing to the Xbox Series S. We'll see if this becomes a reoccurring thing or a reoccurring theme in the coming months and years, because we're going to see a bunch of new games announced very soon, and obviously throughout this year, that are going to be releasing in 2025 and beyond. And we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. That meme guy, we did talk about that. That was the first topic that we discussed. But we are going to move on to the next topic now, which is talking all about Astro. I'm very much excited for Astro, as you guys know, and I want to go over some new information that we're getting about Astro Bot. I know this is a game a lot of you guys are excited for as well, and maybe some of you missed some of this information. But before we dive into the next topic, do me a favor and, again, hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream, or if you just want to help the stream out. We are sitting at 146 likes, so you guys are doing great. Let's see if we can get that up to 150, maybe even 175. I would very much appreciate that. But yeah, we're starting here with, I'm just going to read these 3 articles back to back. There might be some overlap, but the first article comes from WCCF Tech. It says, as reported earlier this year via rumors, Sony announced a new ASTROBOT game coming to PlayStation 5 on September 6th, following the State of Play reveal. Team Asobi creative director Nicolas Doucet talked about the game in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, describing the new ASTROBOT as the studio's biggest ever game, thanks to 80 levels spread across 6 planets. The charm of Astro and how he resonated with people went beyond what we expected. At that point, we decided to make a big game. We wanted to make a big game. This is really about going up a notch, several notches, and having Astro's big story. We call it ASTROBOT because we treat this as a new beginning. That's a really, really big game. I think for us, that's the biggest game we've ever made. The core effort has gone into making Astro's own game so that he can stand on his own feet as a new PlayStation character with a good reputation and confidence. But also, also on top of that, there is this whole coating of nostalgia. This makes sense since Team Asobi got larger 3 years ago in preparation for this game. ASTROBOT will feature lots of cameos from other PlayStation characters. Just in the reveal trailer, we've seen Kratos from God of War, Doucet added. It's kind of eye candy. There's going to be more. We're going to be talking over time about what they mean to the game, but yes, there's going to be a big reunion. There's a lot of characters from the PlayStation universe crossing over with Astro's path. It's an ASTROBOT story, of course, with Astro being the main character, but there's a lot of PlayStation characters that play a part. There will be many other nods to different franchises and stories as well. I would say it's pop culture in general in a very broad sense. That's something we've always done as part of our games. Look at the iconic real-world inspirations, a lot of them from Hollywood movies or famous animation, and looking at themes that really cross generations. So that is the first report for ASTROBOT, and again, as you can clearly hear, they're going really big with this game. Like, that's the thing that they keep emphasizing with this ASTROBOT game, is how big it is. But something he also says in this interview that I think is absolutely important to point out, it's something else we all suspected, and that is that this game is meant to really be a new beginning for ASTROBOT, in the sense that he is now going to be a fully established PlayStation character, PlayStation mascot. I mean, standing up there with the likes of Aloy from Horizon, Kratos from God of War, Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima, Nathan Drake of Uncharted. Like, he's supposed to be like in that upper echelon. And hold on, get down. He's trying to knock my glasses over again. Don't make me have to escort you out of here, boss. You smell Game of the Year? Maybe. I have a second write-up here. This comes from PlayStation Lifestyle, and it says, Team Asobi has said that its new ASTROBOT game is a full-fledged experience that's nearly 4 times the size of the freebie that comes loaded onto PS5 consoles. What's more is that there won't be any microtransactions in the game, and according to the developer, there will be plenty of in-game coins for players to collect and spend at the Gacha Lab. Despite being outed by insiders, ASTROBOT managed to become one of the highlights of the recent PlayStation State of Play, with many noting that it has the potential to be 2024's surprise hit. The PS5 exclusive is single-player only, and according to an FAQ published on Sony's website, ASTROBOT is a full-size adventure that offers over 4 times more worlds, 300 bots to rescue, and dozens of new powers and features to discover. The 3D action platformer will have over 50 planets spread across multiple galaxies. That's actually amazing. Holy crap, man. 50 planets. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Team Asobi boss Nicolas Doucet said that the studio wanted to make a big game that takes Astro's story up several notches. We call it ASTROBOT because we treat this as a new beginning. He continued, revealing that the upcoming title is Team Asobi's biggest endeavor to date. So, yeah, this time we're getting more specific details about 80 levels, 50 different planets, 300 bots to collect. Dude, this game sounds like it's going to have a lot of meat on the bone, man. Like, I have to say, I'm quite surprised at just how big Team Asobi is going here, because this, the more I read about it, the more I hear about it, I am starting to think this could be like 2024's kind of breakout success. I mean, generally speaking, it could do that. I think it's certainly going to be the most successful thing for PlayStation this year. I do. And that's saying something because, I mean, I don't think that's an easy feat ever. You know, I do. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we get to talking about, you know, game of the year, I don't care about game of the year really. It's just not very important to me, truthfully. But there's always interesting conversations to be had at the end of the year of like, what's your game of the year? What do you think's going to win game of the year? I think when we have that conversation, I wouldn't be surprised if ASTROBOT is absolutely a part of that conversation. But I wouldn't be surprised if people start talking about this ASTROBOT game when it's all said and done as like possibly one of the best games that actually released this generation. I wouldn't be surprised. Like that, if you've played Astro's Playroom, you know what I'm talking about. You saw the potential that was there. And this is exactly what I love to see. I love to see development teams that bring something to the table where it's like, wow, this is actually really good and better than expected. But you can sense that there's still more potential here, that the full potential is not realized yet. And then they actually go on to get better, to go bigger, and to realize that full potential. And ASTROBOT, to me, based off of everything I'm seeing and based off of everything I'm reading, ASTROBOT seems to be exactly that. It seems to be a game that's going to fully realize its potential, and a studio that's going to realize their full potential. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm very excited for it. Saying 4 times the size means around 20 hours. I'd say that's pretty good. 20 hours for an action platformer or a 3D platformer, yeah. And that's probably not even, I bet you if that's how long the game's going to be, it's to do everything in the game, I bet you it'll probably go up to like 35 hours or so, maybe even 40, depending on how much there is to collect. Bro, you got too much hair, man. Do I think there will be a 120 hertz mode? Great question. I think, yeah. I think there will be. I mean, that's the one thing about this game is I don't think ASTROBOT's going to like push the limit of like, you know, these are the most insane cutting edge graphics you're ever going to see. I don't think it'll do that, but I don't think it needs to do that. You know, it still looks really good though, but I think that it will leave some room to be able to give more graphical options. So I do imagine that's something they're going to do. Bro, was that not all right? Clearly, I didn't give Boss enough snacks. Perfect Image says, I don't know if you know people or know Concord. I don't know why I said people. I don't know if you know Concord are Bungie devs. People are given a thumbs up. There you go. Just a little bit more, boss. Just a little bit more. Top you off there. Yeah, actually, I did know this. I did know that most of the development team of Concord are made up of Bungie developers and Bungie, like former Bungie employees. And I will say, that's kind of strange if you think about it in a way, because it's like we have Firewalk, which is made up of former Bungie devs. Sony actually has Bungie, which is made up of Bungie devs because it's all Bungie. And there's just this kind of like interesting dynamic between them where it's like, I don't know, they all kind of ended up in the same place, you know? And what's going to make it even more awkward in a way is there was that report. We did talk about this very briefly yesterday, but there was that report that that Marathon is being converted into a hero shooter. And it wasn't originally going to be a hero shooter. And if that's true, that's going to be very awkward. 2 hero shooters coming from, well, one coming from Bungie, one coming from former Bungie, you know, employees. Yeah, good competition. There we go. We love to see it. It is strange though. I if that actually is what happens, I imagine Sony did not necessarily plan that. It's just the way it worked out. We have OK here with a super chat, and thank you for that perfect image. OK comes in with a super chat and says, any comment on the new post from PS CEOs? Astro looks like the ideal mix of nostalgia and modern sensibilities. I can see it thriving into future generations. I do agree with that. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest strength of Astro is, like you're saying, it has that mix of nostalgia. And I think that nostalgia is potent. That nostalgia is hitting me, bro. Like, it's hitting me hard. But it does have the modern sensibilities that are needed in order for it to actually thrive as a standout 3D, modern day 3D platformer. And I think we're going to see Astro throughout multiple generations for sure. You're saying any comment on the new post from PlayStation CEOs? Can you, okay, if you don't mind, could you elaborate on which post you're talking about specifically? Because I don't think I came across anything new. Or at least I haven't come across anything new. Bro, I need you to chill. Come on. All right? Do you want more catnip? Boss is being very needy today. There you go. All right. Sheesh. Capono, you're saying you feel overwhelmed with all this news? That's one spoiled kitten. He is spoiled. You know, I'm having like some kind of breakout on my arm here. And I don't know what it is, but it's really itchy. They seem like hives that are breaking out right on my wrist. I just am not sure what's causing it. Saying poison ivy, obviously. Well, yeah. So that's the thing. I was pulling down poison ivy, but I was wearing long sleeves. And number two, that was like multiple days ago. Surely the rash would have presented before that if it was poison ivy. Dude, if it's poison ivy, I'm going to snap. Because I tried so hard, man. It can start really small and spread. Oh, don't tell me that. MBG Gene Park has a link to the post. Okay. I'll see if I can find it. Okay. I'll see if I can find it. Okay. Because your name's okay. Here, I'll show it really quick before I move. I'm going to try to show you my wrist. I don't know if it's coming through clearly. Focus. The camera won't focus it enough. I can't bend this way. I don't know if you could see it. It is pretty itchy, I'm not going to lie. Don't itch it. Okay. Great. Yeah, it's not coming through clearly. Before I check out that article, though, or I go looking for that article, boss, bro, I'm sorry, man. I can't have you in my lap right now. Before I do that, I have 2 super chats from Josh. Thank you for that, buddy. Damn vexitious. Now I'm freaked out. Now I'm like, oh man, it is going to be. Hold on. In all seriousness, though, before I read your super chat, Josh, I just got to ask, how could it be poison ivy if I was covered up? If I was wearing long sleeves and gloves? How could that be possible? Like, I thought I properly, I thought I approached it properly. Like, I didn't go out there with short sleeves or anything. Now I'm all paranoid. Anyway. No way. Hold on. Space Gambler saying it can go through cotton. I've never heard of that. I gotta look this up now real quick. Can poison ivy go through your clothes? Poison ivy dermatitis is not contagious and cannot be passed from person to person. However, it can be carried under fingernails and on clothes. Okay. Having it stuck onto your clothes. Okay. I need to search one more thing now. Can poison ivy be washed off in the washing machine? Okay. So I did wash the clothing immediately after. I washed the clothing immediately after I was finished, with the backyard and put it in the washing machine. So I guess I'm just gonna have to keep an eye out. I'm thinking it's poison ivy though. I'll be honest, because I've had poison ivy before. I think I'm in a little bit of denial right now. Because I told myself, like, this isn't going to happen again. Like, I'm not going to get poison ivy. Like, I'm doing it right. Did I use the Xbox shower gel? You know what? I'm going to have to acquire some. I bet you that'll take care of it. I bet you that would take care of it. Any natural... I know people are saying cortisone. Cortisone for poison ivy. Yeah, it does itch so bad. Any other natural remedies for poison ivy? Aloe vera. Okay. Banana peel, cucumber, and apple cider vinegar will help. Interesting. Okay. Like a banana peel. I never heard of that. Apple cider vinegar. I think I've heard of that. Tears. E45 cream moisturizer, calamine lotion, hydrocortisone. Put a bag of frozen vegetables on it. Help stop the itching. Wash your hands a lot. Okay, a milk bath. All right, we'll leave it there. I appreciate your help, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Game Pass will fix it. Josh with the super chat here saying, don't confuse me for one of these PlayStation fanboys that want to defend Concord just because it's PlayStation. LOL. I'm simply having a sigh of relief that it's not a legacy studio, and you're putting a laughing emoji there. Not that you did. Just want to make that clear. LOL. No, yeah, I hear you, man. Trust me. I was reading some of the comments from my stream yesterday, and it seems that there are definitely people that think I'm being way too harsh on Concord. And here's what I'll say about that. I said my piece. Like I'm not going to apologize necessarily, for saying how I feel about something I'm seeing, and I don't expect people to just be like, "Oh yeah, you're right, MBG." Like, it is what it is. I said my piece, people reacted to what I had to say, and I'm moving on. If there's something that comes up with Concord where I feel as though I need to talk about it again, I will, but I don't see that happening necessarily. The only thing that might come up soon that I might need to talk about is the price of the game. I think we're going to learn the price of Concord very soon. And here's what I can tell you. If it's $40, I'm not going to have much to say. If it's $70, we might have to talk. At least a little bit. Just a little bit. Not a whole dedicated stream, but just a little bit. But outside of that, I don't really have much more to say about Concord. And, I said my piece yesterday. And, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Josh. I didn't view you that way. And that's it. Josh is like, I know you didn't say that, bro. I just want to clear myself here. All right, we have let's see, what do we have left here? Okay, so don't have that much more to say about ASTROBOT than what I've already said. I guess my final thoughts on ASTROBOT for now, until I talk about it later on when we get even more information and learn more about it, is, to me, it seems like Astro is going to do the heavy lifting for PlayStation in 2024. I think games like Stellar Blade, well, you know what? Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade, I think, have done the heavy lifting for the first half of 2024. And I think, truthfully, ASTROBOT is going to bear most of that weight for the second half, of 2024. I think Until Dawn Remake is going to help a little bit. I think Silent Hill 2 Remake could help. And maybe Concord will help if it actually finds an audience. But I think, generally speaking, ASTROBOT is going to be the game that's going to do the real heavy lifting for PlayStation for the remainder of 2024. And what's interesting to me about this is Sony has a solid lineup of games. They have Concord, they have Until Dawn Remake, they have Silent Hill 2 Remake as a timed console exclusive, and they have ASTROBOT. And as of right now, the reports are, they've said that, and they've corroborated that the PS5 Pro reveal is coming later this year as well. So Sony could have a lot going on, seemingly, like a lot going on between now and the end of the year. And something I also want to point out here that Sony didn't really discuss with their state of play, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, is that they really didn't set up anything with their first party for 2025 or beyond. Like, did anybody notice that? Like, we do have some partner games like Where the Winds Meet and Ballad of Antera, I think. I don't even know if these games are going to be exclusive, by the way. I think they are, or maybe timed exclusive, but Sony didn't set up anything for 2025 from their studios or even from any of their major partners. And I find that interesting. It makes me wonder when Sony is planning to do that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that ASTROBOT, combined with the other games that Sony has lined up, combined potentially with a PS5 Pro announcement, and maybe, I'm not going to be that guy, and maybe a PlayStation showcase. The second half of 2024 for PlayStation could be very interesting. Yeah, that's true. I thought we were going to see Phantom Blade Zero, but not yet. Not yet. Maybe at Summer Game Fest. Let me go look up this article saying it was from Gene Park. Let me see. Oh, okay. 40 minutes ago, Gene Park posts, the new twin heads of PlayStation CEOs make their first public comments together. Quote, while we don't always get things right, we always listen, learn, and grow and adapt. Okay, interesting. So this is this is from the Sony Interactive Entertainment blog. I didn't even see this. Thank you for pointing this out. Because I don't think I would have missed it, but I would have missed it during this stream. So let's see what they say here. An exciting future at Sony Interactive Entertainment. A message from Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulst. We are very upset that you did not like Concord. Specifically, we are upset with MBG and everything he had to say. Please buy this game and support it. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, well, that's what they had to say. I'm just kidding. All right. They say here, since our founding, we have always strived to bring the best to our community, and we take to heart Sony's purpose to fill the world with emotion. We have pushed the boundaries of play by developing and launching hardware and content that brings more engaging experiences to more people across more devices in new and different ways for 30 years. As of June 1st, we have begun a new chapter in the history of Sony Interactive Entertainment and the PlayStation brand and family of products and services. New leadership. We take the helm of Sony Interactive as the CEOs of SIE Platform Business Group and the SIE Studios Business Group. We will continue to collaborate closely to bring the best to the Platform Business Group responsible for technology, hardware, and network services closer to the Studios Business Group responsible for first-party content and IP expansion with the goal of bringing exciting new experiences to our expanding community. The PlayStation community is at the heart of everything we do. While we don't always get things right, we always listen, learn, and grow and adapt. Thank you for being with us these past 30 years. We appreciate our community, and we want to be transparent and share what we can about our exciting new organizational structure. We believe it's never been more important for the leadership at SIE to step back, review our business holistically, and move forward with a new structure designed to bring out the best in the organization and deliver increasingly incredible experiences. Below is the email we just sent to SIE employees worldwide. Thank you again for being on this journey with us, and we look forward to amazing and delighting you for the next 30 years and beyond. Damn, the next 30 years and beyond. All right, so I will read this email. Okay, I'll read the email that they sent out. We have Laman here, though, member for 12 months. Thank you for that, Laman. Saying Google Bredang/Stockholm. If you have a lot of fans here. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize if I just destroyed the name of that town/city. You're saying thank you. Do you believe Until Dawn 2 is possible? Phantom Blade Zero could be the best game I've seen. Phantom Blade Zero does look very good, and I'm actually interested in seeing more of it. Apparently, there's going to be a demo, as somebody pointed out, this year. They did confirm that, so hopefully we'll be hearing about that soon. And I absolutely do think we are going to get an Until Dawn 2. In fact, I think Until Dawn 2 might already be in development because Sony made it clear during their business presentation that Until Dawn is one of their major franchises. So yeah, I do think a sequel is likely in development. It's getting a movie made. They're remaking it for PS5 and PC. I'm thinking, yeah. So thank you for that, Laman. Let me read this email to you guys, though. This is the email that Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulse put out. Team, as announced in May, we have been appointed CEO of SIE's Platform Business Group and CEO of SIE's Studio Business Group effective June 1st. We would like to take a moment to express our excitement for this new challenge. We have both been with the organization for many years, and in that time, we've seen the industry and SIE expand by leaps and bounds. Over the last 30 years, we have consistently delivered the best place to play, and the size of our community of players and creators has grown tremendously. Without the passion of everyone at SIE, we could not deliver the exceptional quality of experiences through our platforms and content, and we should all be proud of where we are today. We are confident the entire team at SIE will continue to respond to player and creator needs and advance experiences for the future. Play and storytelling are fundamental to society. People are exploring new ways to interact with games, just as the passionate creators within our studios and our development partners craft incredibly rich stories and immersive new ways to play and build communities. The inspiring technical talent within our engineering teams drive the creation of cutting-edge hardware and services, empowering game developers with the very best tools and ensuring gamers have the very best experiences. We are one SIE, and all of us are essential to delivering these amazing experiences and share in our continued success. Expectations for us are high, and we aim to drive improving profitability. Technology has fundamentally changed the way we make and play games, and more people are gaming than ever before. Digital transformation has changed the way we engage with our customers and the way we work. We recognize the world is evolving, and we must prepare ourselves for growth in this environment. Through collaboration and innovation, SIE excels in both content creation and technological advancements, continuously reimagining the gaming landscape and charting a course for the future of interactive entertainment. While having two CEOs is a new structure for SIE, we know this will foster greater creativity and innovation as we look for new ways to grow the business, always keeping our community at the forefront. Two distinct business groups will enable us to have more rigor and clarity across our lines of business as SIE continues to grow and evolve. As we step into our new roles, we will take time to deepen our understanding about various aspects of the business. In the coming weeks, you will receive information about a future town hall, and moving forward, we plan to communicate with you regularly. This is a truly exciting time with great opportunities to expand the boundaries of play. This new structure will let us continue our journey as trailblazers in the entertainment industry, which has always been fueled by our passionate workforce. Together as one organization, we will continue to harness that passion to bring amazing, innovative experiences to our expanding community. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Hideki Nishino, CEO, Platform Business Group, and Herman Hulst, CEO of Studio Business Group. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. I guess, yeah, it's good that, you know, they're putting this out there and addressing it. The one thing I'm wondering is, well, I mean, there's a lot I'm wondering, but something specifically that's kind of standing out to me right now is the way that they're talking. They keep talking about communication. Whoa. Jeez, little MBG out there. Not happy. Not happy about that write-up, bro. Anyway, catch me off guard there. Yeah, dude, I was like, what? The thing that's really standing out to me, though, is they keep emphasizing communication, right? And the community. And I have been talking to you guys pretty much for the past 4 or 5 years since Jim Ryan took over as the CEO of PlayStation. And a lot of you have expressed this as well, that it seems like the communication between PlayStation and the fan base and the community has been pretty lackluster. You know, there's been minimal fanfare, and it just hasn't really been ideal. And it feels like it could use some improving. And so I'm not necessarily reading this as, oh yeah, like they're basically saying they're going to communicate more often with the fan base and there will be more fanfare. They're not saying that, but exactly, Irfan. That's the thing that kind of stood out to me. Quote, in the coming weeks, you will receive information about a future town hall, and moving forward, we plan to communicate with you regularly. It does sound like there is going to be some kind of shift, at least internally at PlayStation, about the way they're going to communicate with the, you know, with the developers and the workforce. And I have to imagine if they're going to change that, they're likely going to change, like that's going to reflect on the community as well, right? So yeah, it you know, it's June 3rd. Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulst were officially appointed the CEOs on June 1st. So it truly now is the beginning of a new era at PlayStation. And, you know, they're clearly communicating that with this write-up, with this email. You know, they're talking about profitability, they're talking about growth, and I'm not so interested in that side of it because, I mean, I want to see PlayStation do well, but that's their, you know, that they have to figure that out. But it's good. It will be very interesting to see what changes, because I do think things are going to change. I don't know that they're going to it's going to happen rapidly, but then again, I mean, they're in charge now. You know, like Herman can make decisions. Hideaki Nishino can make decisions. They're going to have to make decisions. And I'm just very interested to see what this new era of PlayStation looks like, because we now know what the Jim Ryan era of PlayStation looked like. We know what the PS4 generation looked like with, you know, Sean Layden and, you know, Shuhei Yoshida, as well as Andrew House, Jack Trenton. Like, you know, we We know all that. But this really is truly the beginning of like a brand new era / generation of PlayStation leadership. And it's different than it ever has been. We have two separate CEOs. They're handling two separate things. And it's fascinating. I'm curious. Like, my curiosity is truly peaked at this point. And yeah, we're going to see, man. We're going to see. Do I think it's a mess over there? No, I don't. No. Actually, I think the mess is cleaned up now. I think that there was a mess. If we look back at like, not October, but like November, December, January, it's like when, there were these reports coming out, there were these reports coming out that they were having issues with some of their live service games. Naughty Dog clearly wasn't happy doing the live service Last of Us game. And I think that there was a mess and they had to clean it up. And I think that they did that. I think that's the mess was Jim Ryan. I mean, look, man, I think Jim Ryan's situation could very well be a situation where he did a lot of things good. And there's no doubt that he is the reason why the PlayStation 5 has made it to this point and has been this successful. But in that time, he may have also made some questionable decisions and decisions that had bad outcomes internally at Sony. And maybe that is what kind of, again, I think it seems clear he retired, but maybe he just kind of knew, like, well, not all of the bets that I made are panning out. And so, maybe it's just time for new blood. You know what I mean? And I am very much getting that feeling after reading this that, yeah, like, this is new blood. It's people. Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulst have been there for years, to be clear. But I just mean, like, new blood is a new leadership with a different mindset, a different outlook. And, I was talking yesterday about how I am a little bit worried about Herman Hulst, but at the same time, it's like, after thinking about it, it's simply too soon for me to make any judgment. It's way too soon. I can't judge anything when it comes to Herman Hulst as a CEO, how he will be as a CEO of PlayStation. Same thing with Hideaki Nishino. I have no idea. No, they have not made any decisions yet as CEOs. No decisions have been made yet with them as CEOs because they just became CEOs literally 2 days ago. So going forward, every decision that is made with PlayStation, every announcement that's made, everything that they do communication-wise, it's going to be them now in charge. And so let's see. Let's see what changes or what doesn't. You think Herman Hulst is going to be far better than Jim Ryan? I will say I do have this sense of confidence, and maybe I don't think it's a false sense of confidence. Hopefully it's not, but it's just the idea of, like, it's always exciting to have new leadership because it means new possibilities. When you have somebody in charge long enough, you begin to understand, like, how they are operating and what you can come to expect. And that's exactly what happened with Jim Ryan. Like, we kind of knew by the third or fourth year of Jim Ryan being the head of PlayStation, like, what to expect, for better or for worse. And every time there's a new leader appointed, or in this case, leaders, it's okay. Let's see. It's kind of a fresh start in a way. So we will see, guys. We will see. But with that being said, I am going to move on to the final topic of today's stream, which talks about one of my most anticipated games. Antonio Lopes, you're saying Xbox does have a shadow drop, and they're going to tease the upcoming handheld according to Xtax. I don't know who that is, but I wonder if they're going to shadow drop something. I wonder what it would be. That'd be interesting. All right, so the final topic talks about a game I'm extremely excited about. And before I talk about it, I do want to ask you guys one more time here to please hit that like button for me. You're doing great today. We're already sitting at 189 likes. We have over 400 people here watching. Let's see if we can bump that up to 200 likes. And let's see how far beyond 200 likes we can go before this stream ends. We are doing a members lounge today, yes. Yeah, we're going to be doing a members lounge. He leaks a ton of stuff. He's from Exputer. That's interesting. That'll be very... Dude, if Microsoft teases their handheld at the Xbox Showcase, that would be super interesting. Pretty unexpected. Yeah. But the topic I'm talking about here is Metal Gear Solid Delta. I have a report here from WCCF Tech. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater may not release this year as previously revealed, according to rumors circulating online. The remake of the third entry in the series by Konami, according to reliable leaker Billy Bill Kuhn, may slip into 2025. A 2025 release window was referenced by a global distribution giant, the leaker said, with a December 31st, 2025 placeholder release date. The leaker, however, wasn't able to corroborate the information, so there's still a chance the game will launch before the end of this year. No matter when Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is launching, an announcement regarding the game will be made very soon, within the next 10 days or so. And it's worth noting this report, I think, is 2 days old at this point. Pre-orders will open after the announcement, so a release date will surely be announced soon, whether in 2024 or 2025. A collector's edition will also be released for the game, but its contents have yet to be confirmed, and the game is going to be priced at $70 US, and the collector's edition for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater will be priced at $200 US. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is a remake of the third entry in the series, rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5. Not a whole lot is known about the game, but judging from the short footage available, it will attempt to faithfully recreate the original while improving visuals and enhancing the immersive stealth action gameplay that makes the original one of the best entries in the series, if not the very best. God damn it. It's freaking fly, man. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about this with you guys for a couple of minutes. I feel like it's been a long time since we've had any information, even rumors or leaks about anything relating to Metal Gear. But we do know that at the beginning of this year, Sony put out a trailer hyping up the games that are releasing on PS5 in 2024. And one of the games that they did show was Metal Gear Solid 3, or Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. And, you know, they said it's coming out in 2024. Here we are now, though. It's the middle of 2024. It's June 3rd, and we haven't heard anything more about this game. We are hearing a lot about Silent Hill 2 Remake, but that's because we just got the announced date of October 8th. So if I had to guess, I'm thinking the game is going to get delayed into 2025. And I think that probably makes the most sense because I don't think Metal Gear needs to launch anywhere near Silent Hill. I think it would just be better to get Silent Hill out first and then kind of give Metal Gear Solid 3 its own breathing room. They're two very different games, of course, but at this point in time, I'm just fully expecting that we're going to have to wait till 2025 to play Metal Gear Solid Delta. It would be great if that was wrong, though. But I'm also super interested in this collector's edition. I don't usually care about collector's editions, but man, I was really wondering if Konami was going to do a collector's edition for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, and they are. It's going to be expensive, $200. Really not sure what it's going to include. Comes with the end. Yeah, it's a really high-end premium statue of the end. My hope is that it comes with a statue of Snake. Like that's what I would want. If that's what they do, I would absolutely jump on that. If it's like a statue of like the Shagahot or something, I don't know. I might end up passing on that, truthfully. But I'm really interested to see where they're going to show up. We know Summer Game Fest is happening Friday, but on Sunday there's going to be the Xbox Showcase. So maybe Metal Gear is going to show up at the Xbox Showcase. That would be interesting. I also kind of had it in my mind that Konami was going to give it its own thing, I guess, kind of like they did for Silent Hill, but maybe not. But either way, man, I also want to know if Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, or Metal Gear Solid Delta, I keep calling it 3 Delta. If Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater gets delayed to 2025, I'm really hoping that this means it's going to end up being PS5 Pro optimized. Because assuming the PS5 Pro does still launch this year, you know, and let's say Metal Gear comes out like February of next year or March of next year, I would love to see it, you know, be fully optimized for the PS5 Pro and just get the absolute best looking version, hopefully on console anyway, that I can of this game. Because man, I'm still, you know, I want to see gameplay. Obviously, they did show a little bit of gameplay already, and from the little bit of gameplay we've seen of Metal Gear Solid Delta, it just seems very clear to me that they are playing it as safe as they possibly can. It's mostly just a graphical update with just minor tweaks to some animations to brush them up, smooth them out, and make the animations look more modern. And I think if that's all they choose to do with Metal Gear Solid Delta, I think people will be happy with that. I did see that some people were feeling a little bit disappointed that the update in graphical fidelity with Unreal Engine 5 seems to have removed a little bit of the art style, like the color palette. There was like kind of this green haze tint with the original Metal Gear Solid 3. And I understand that. I can totally understand why some people would feel like that takes away a certain essence that, you know, the original game had. But I think that's kind of the price in a way that you pay, at least most times, when you're talking about updating graphics and trying to make a game look as good as it possibly can. I personally think that what we've seen of it so far looks pretty good, and I'm actually okay with that. You know what they should do? They should do what Demon's Souls did. If you go play Demon's Souls on PS5, they have a bunch of filters. And one of the filters, if I'm not mistaken, like is these, I don't know what it's called, but it basically made it look just like the original Demon's Souls, not graphically, just like color palette wise. And I think that if Konami was smart, they would add maybe a filter on there, call it like the original Snake Eater, you know, filter or whatever, and you can toggle it on or off. That'd be pretty cool. Antonio Lopes, you're saying, MBG, check out the Reset Era thread on the bullet points taken from Jeff's stream. He's pretty modest about this year's show. It's a good read. MGS won't be there, and he's not really in hype mode. Yeah, I was going to talk about that tomorrow. That was one of the topics we're going to discuss, Antonio. So, but you're saying check out the bullet points. Antonio, if you don't mind, maybe you can link that for me, and I'll bring it up here and I'll bookmark it for tomorrow. But yeah, we were going to talk more about Summer Game Fest during tomorrow's stream. But you're confirming that Delta won't. He did confirm that Delta won't be there. I'm not surprised. To be honest, I wasn't necessarily expecting Metal Gear Solid Delta. Like, there's no way Jeff is going to work with Konami, dude. Like, it's just not going to happen. He's friends with Kojima, and I think in Jeff Keighley's mind, if he were to, like, that would be the ultimate disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Konami, come show off Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake at my event. No, Jeff wouldn't do that. That would be messed up. You know, that would be a very bad look for him. Irfan, is that a joke? I thought that was already... Dude, that's already there. It's not a joke. I mean, dude, I see random stuff pop up all the time, and I'm like, what? Well, man, what is going on? Like, again, a part of me is surprised. A part of me is not surprised. I find myself existing in this space frequently with these announcements anymore that take place. It's like, man. Okay. Yeah, Irfan, I see it. Yep, it's right there. It's right there. I just had to go in the replies, didn't I? Was it unofficial before? Great question, Angry Whale Watcher. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is it? What does this mean, dude? What does this mean? How are you doing, Anonymous Boss? I'm doing good. Can we defeat the end without facing him like the original? Yes. Yeah. There's no way Konami would change that, dude. There's no way they would change that. I can't wait for Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, man. Like, I really think Konami would have to do something just so stupid to screw it up. I really do. Like, they would have to make some really boneheaded decision that's just so obviously like, oh, so you do want this to fail. Okay. I think all they have to do is just make the game look pretty and just update some of the animations. That's it. That's it. The one thing I'm very curious to know, though, about Metal Gear Solid Delta is if they added a third-person over-the-shoulder camera for aiming. Because in Metal Gear Solid 3, you basically had two options when it comes to shooting weapons. Option number one is, and if I remember correctly, you would just hold down square, and it would kind of auto-target. Like, it would kind of automatically lock on to the nearest enemy or whichever enemy you were facing. It would lock on to them. And the second way is first-person mode. You would go into first-person. You couldn't move while in first-person. But when you enter first-person mode, you have more accuracy. You can pinpoint where you want to shoot. And I just wonder if maybe they took the over. See, I don't know that they would do that because I think that would maybe risk altering the game too much, like maybe breaking it a little too much. Where I just wonder if they were to take like a cue from like Metal Gear Solid 5 and be like, rather than pressing square, you're going to hold down L2, you'll aim in over the shoulder, and then you can just, target what you want. But I do just wonder how much that would change the gameplay. I feel like it could probably enhance the gameplay experience, truthfully. But I do wonder if it would make it too easy. Because the game was not designed for that. You know what I mean? Like, the Metal Gear Solid 3's game design was not meant to include like MGS5-esque over-the-shoulder aiming. It was just meant to include first-person aiming and that kind of janky auto-aim system. So, I do wonder. You think they'll have like a classic mode and a Delta mode where they have over the shoulder? You know what? That would be a smart decision. I didn't think of that. That would be a great way to handle it where, yeah, Konami could do that. They could just offer like different modes, right? Like just classic mode, like you're saying, where it plays exactly like the original, just good graphics, or they, you could choose Delta mode, like you're saying. That's a good idea. I feel like that's too smart for Konami, though. Unfortunately. But my whole thing with it is I do. Maybe they experimented, The developers would know better than I would. If they experimented with some kind of over-the-shoulder aiming system, they probably would have realized very quickly that this isn't going to work. Like, it kind of breaks the game. But at the same time, though, like, I feel like that was one of the weaker aspects of Metal Gear Solid 3, truthfully. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, one of the best games ever made. But at the same time, like, I do think one of the weaker aspects of it is it was never really enjoyable to try to engage with enemies using any firearms outside of the first person mode. It never felt good. It felt honestly very annoying and unfun. So it's one of these things where I wouldn't really know if it's fun or not, or if it made the game better unless I could try it out. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm just excited to be hearing about Metal Gear Solid Delta again. I feel like it's been too long. Yeah, it's true. This is Konami we're talking about. We do need to keep that in mind. Absolutely. Do I think the jail cell dream sequence will still be in it? That's a good question. I want to say probably not. I feel like that might be one thing that's actually cut out of it. But I think if I'm not mistaken, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but you played a different game, right? But wait, doesn't Konami own the game though? Maybe it'll still be there. Maybe it'll still be there. Well, we will find out. Hopefully in the coming days. So that article said, according to the leaker, we're going to hear about it in like the next 10 days or so. And it seems like it's clear it's not going to show up at Summer Game Fest. So I'm thinking we're going to see Metal Gear Delta at the Xbox Showcase, which, let me tell you, man, that gets me excited. That right there is enough to get me to tune in. So Jeff said not to expect Metal Gear Solid Delta at Summer Game Fest. Okay. I'm glad he nipped that in the bud. So yeah, I'm thinking it's either going to be a dedicated Konami thing, which I'm thinking is more unlikely now. So yeah, probably the Xbox Showcase. Should I cosplay Snake for the Xbox Showcase? I'm not going to. But I will be very excited for it to be there. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I finished all the topics. This is gonna be a last call. We're gonna chat for about 5 or so more minutes. 5 or so. I think I said that right. Yeah, we're gonna chat for about 5 more minutes. So we're gonna do a last call for membership gifts, membership joins, and super chats. Because once this stream ends in the next 5 or so minutes, we're gonna be heading over to the members lounge. Okay, so if you are a channel member and you do have that badge next to your name, look forward to that. The Members Lounge is going to go live as soon as this stream ends. And if you could do me a favor, if you're heading out, if you're not going to join us in the Members Lounge, or if you're going to leave the stream, just make sure you hit that like button for me. It really helps. We're sitting at 209 likes. Let's see if we can bump that up to 225. It would definitely help it out. Am I still itchy? Yes. Yeah, this one spot on my wrist here is extremely itchy. And I think it's pretty clear I got poison ivy. So I'm just going to have to deal with that. I'm so annoyed, man. I tried so hard. To avoid this. And the worst part about it is I didn't even get to finish the job. You know, like I wasn't even able to get all of it. And, like, this is very discouraging. Like, I'm not going to want to, go out and finish it now. Because I'm going to be terrified. Like, this is why I let it get the way it does. Because, like, I'm terrified to touch poison ivy, bro. It sucks. And we have Paul Gannell coming in. He's answering the call here, dropping another membership gift. Paul brings us up to 27 members on the day. Paul, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He just gifted JR OQJ Rock. Is that how you'd say that, I guess? Now gaining access to the members lounge. Really appreciate that, Paul. Thank you. Christopher Dring is moderating a debate between Sean Layden and Michael Pachter. Ryan McCaffrey is having an hour-long fireside chat with Phil Spencer on Sunday after the show. Interesting. Okay. I have to say, I think I'm more interested in that fireside chat with Phil Spencer because, yeah, we haven't heard from Phil in a while. I like hearing from Sean Layden, but the thing about Sean Layden is he can't really talk to, he can't give us much more insight into PlayStation anymore because he doesn't work there. He hasn't for a while. You know what I mean? Like I like listening to Sean Layden sometimes, but I really want to hear what he has to say about PlayStation. But everything he says about PlayStation is, during the PS4 era, and it is literally like a new era now. So you're so curious if Phil gets booed. I I don't know. I don't know if he's going to show up and do his normal annual speech. All right. So this is where I'm going to call it, guys. I'm going to shut this stream down and open up a members lounge where we're going to hang out there for a little while. So before I do that, I want to just extend a big thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched the stream today. And also, again, a shout out to anybody who watches the stream later on. I want to make sure to give a big thank you to everybody who dropped membership gifts today. Those of you who dropped membership gifts and those of you who dropped super chats, as I always say and will continue to say as long as it remains true, simply couldn't do it without you. You guys are the sponsors of the channel. The channel is purely fan funded, and it's a privilege to be able to do this. So thank you guys so much, sincerely, for all of your support. And I also want to give a shout out to Devil Shooter for doing the timestamps. He does a great job with the timestamps. If you see him in the comments with the timestamps, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he really appreciates that. And yeah, that's going to do it for the stream, guys. Hit that like button as you're filing out. And to all of my channel members, I will catch you guys in the members lounge. And to everybody else, I will catch you tomorrow with another stream. So that does it. Until then, guys, take care.